Hey, peace and blessings, family. I just wanted to jump on here real quick before I went to bed because this was like heavily on my heart, and I just wanted to come on real quick um, and kind of talk to y'all real quick. Um, just real quick, hold on, because this was really on my heart, and so I entitled this "Diddy Bill Kelly." Okay, y'all could take it for whatever you want to take it as. But I do believe inside of Black culture, we got a problem. I think we've always had this problem, but I just feel like we haven't always been upright in terms of talking about it. Because in all of my work and all the years of my work, this has been a real problem, to be very honest with you. And for the life of me, I'm trying to get my lighting right. Sorry, y'all. And maybe that's better. So like I look kind of dark, but I don't have my other light in here. So anyway, um, it just seemed like, hold on. Okay, good. Sorry about that. I'll make sure my sound was right. Okay, so I kind of want to come to y'all real quick because I really feel like, years ago, a couple of years back, I was doing a lot of videos about Black femicide because, to be very honest with you, I was totally shocked that the pushback I got about Black femicide from a lot of Black people, like just like Black people ain't the only ones who murder people. And it's like we love to deflect when we can't look at ourselves. Like we are some of the most deflectingest people I've ever seen in my whole life. We will deflect our ass off. But we know that this is a problem. And I feel like, it seems like in the Black community, and if I'm wrong, I swear I hope somebody would correct me. But really, you can't correct me because some of y'all are supporters of misogyny. You're supporters of abusers. You're supporters of predators. We have this thing, and I can't speak for no other community. I'm not speaking for white people. I'm not speaking for Latinos. I'm not speaking for Indian people, East Indian or Native American. I'm not speaking for no other culture but the culture to which I belong. And I am Black. I'm African American. I'm a descendant of enslaved people. I'm foundational Black American. I'm all of those things. And so one of the things that kind of pisses me off is when Black people love to act like, we are doing these things because we're with white people. No, we're doing these things because we sick. And if we was in Africa, we'd be doing some of the same shit. So I don't know what it is about us. I don't know why we like to deflect so much, why we don't like to take responsibility for when we do things. I think all of this sexual predator stuff going on, this is us, family. This is us. I've interviewed a lot of people. I've heard stories of things that happen to folks. I know grown women, but things happened to them when they was children that they never told anyone because they would not be believed. They just wouldn't be believed. And for some reason, we really have this thing where we do not like to tell the truth. We feel like I feel like protecting predators is a problem. And I feel like that is why a lot of us take our chances with the devil. We just take our chances with the devil. Like, what you got to lose? You have nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? You really have nothing to lose. Okay. So I'm saying all this because I really feel like in our community, we really need to talk about this because this is a problem. This is a real problem. There are so many people in the world, I mean, women in particular, because I work mainly with women. I'm not saying this is happening to men, because apparently this has happened to men as well, with all two cases except for Bill's. Bill's were strictly women, like white women, um, mixed race women, and maybe one Black woman. Okay, but the other two men were involved, and I feel like we got to stop blaming the the white people or white culture for shit that we do. And I feel like this is why some Black people who want to jump in and help Black folks, they don't, because we don't do accountability very well. And we are not good self governors. Like we cannot self govern to save our lives. Because when we fuck up, instead of saying, I messed up, and I'm talking about just in terms of like working together, we're gonna blame everybody but ourselves. We're not gonna reflect to self and be like, how can I did this differently? How can I fix this? We'll be like, it's because of the white man. It's because of the society. I was listening to some influencer today. It's an older gentleman, and all he could do is talk about, how the women who did this is their fault. We act like girls who are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, even 18. We act like they are not young people. We act like they're grown ass women. And so to hear a black man who is married talk about, well, they're not victims. They knew what they were doing. They're fucking children. But you want us to lobby with the white man to see young black men as boys, which we do. But you don't do that for black women. I mean, that's very interesting. Like, you got to admit that that's interesting. So I just kind of wanted to jump on here tonight and kind of just let y'all know that we got to be very, very careful. And I mean very careful of the things we say about these cases with Diddy and anybody else, because you have young people listening to you make excuses for what these people have done. Which means this could be going on in your house, and then you wonder why your children don't tell you. Because it's not safe for them. You're not safe for them because you're protecting predators. Just food for thought, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger. But I just really feel like, we got to really look at this. We got to really, really look at this. We got to look at what our daughters are seeing. We got to look at what our sons are seeing. This ownership on women's bodies, and this is no feminist shit. Sometimes I notice that we like to act like people are feminists when they saying shit that you don't agree with. Then we call them a bunch of feminists. Which is like, where you get that from? How we get to be feminist? Because I'm telling you, you don't fucking own me because you don't. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. So anyway, I just feel like we got to talk about this, and we cannot miss the moment and not talking about what has happened as it pertains to Diddy. And let me just say this, because I don't know him at all. But I also know, we all know there was a shift in the music. See, I remember growing up listening to classic hip hop, which they talked about. A lot of that stuff was the teaching from the nation. The best rappers to me were Muslim at the time. So, or they was into Islam, and they had really good, and I'm talking about the Islam that came from Elijah Muhammad. I'm not trying to be funny. So it wasn't the Arab Islam, because those people were our enslavers. Let's keep it all the way a buck. And a lot of Arabs are very racist. That's why I'm quiet on certain stuff, because I always look at how people treat us. So, but this was like the black nationalism that came out in the music in the 80s. So you have Poor Righteous Teachers, you had like some really, just a lot of good guru, Gangstar. Like, they were saying things that spoke to your spirit, spoke to your soul. And then there was a shift. And so I don't care if a white person or white Jew or whatever y'all like to say, because we love to come up with reasons why we do shit. Because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do rap. You talked about killing people. You did not have to do it. I feel the same way about drug dealers. You did not have to sell that dope. So you can say that shit for someone else. And if that's the case, you probably really should be in jail, since you can't self-govern. So when that shift in the music came, some of us were so busy wanting our children to like us, to love us. We know we heard those lyrics, and we know the lyrics weren't right. But some of us do anything for our kids to see us. We do anything. And then we got the audacity to talk about conspiracy theories and the executives in corporate America and money. And I mean, come on, just say you was a greedy pig and you didn't really give a fuck about black people. And that's okay. I could respect you more if you said that. I could respect you more. But then when all of these things came out, see, I've also been watching documentaries. I watched the one about Russell Simmons and his type of people he liked to be with, or to it's alleged sexual assault because he's not in the country, so we can't really get his stuff cleared up. I do think people get power and they do lose their mind. That's what I believe. I believe in the black community, when you're a celebrity, we look past a lot of things. We act like it's okay for grown men to sleep in bed with children. And because we really like the person's music, we act like it's okay for him to do it. But somebody else was doing that wasn't famous, they'd be in jail. So I think we got to really, if we're going to fix our community, we got to start with the women because we're the one who give birth to the whole planet. So if she's not well, she's not protected, how can the rest of us be even well? But see, we don't want to talk about that. We want to act like we're helping people, but we ain't going to really talk about that. The other day in my class, well, last week, the whole thing, we on this conversation about Cassie. And it triggered some girls in my class. And they started sharing things, and I always say, don't say names, you know. But for a lot of us, that's going to go over our head because we don't want to deal with that. You know, there's this thing about black girls not feeling that their bodies are theirs or that their bodies are protected. I've heard a lot of girls say that. And then I look at the black femicide numbers, and the last time I checked was every 5.5 hours, a black woman or girl is killed by a black boy or man. And see, black folks, we act like that's a society. No, we don't get to act like that's just like tying your shoe. I don't know what it is, or people think they just own black women like that, or black girls, or that we are so worthless. I don't know what that's really about. But when I look at Diddy, when I look at Bill, because I seen the documentary, we must talk about Bill Cosby. Yes, we need to talk. We must talk about Bill. That's what they call, but they're talking about Mr. Cosby, who did wonderful work. But you could be an angel and a demon at the same time. I could separate Cliff from Bill. But see, most of us can't even do that. That's how I know some of us aren't good self-governors. We can't do it. We're horrible self-governors. We're just horrible. We're just not good at it. So, and even with R. Kelly, the mute R. Kelly movie, mute R. Kelly, the surviving R. Kelly, black people still defending this man. I'm like, this is why people take their chances with the Klan and go live amongst them, because at least you know who they are. You can't live with a people who can't self-govern. Can't do it. It'll never work. It just won't. So it just won't. And see, we have a lot of these predators in our community, and we don't want to talk about it. Our community is getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. We have a lot of, even in the black community, if you're a criminal, you get all kind of shit. If you're a person that's trying to be a good human being, you can't get help for nothing. At least here in Sacramento. And that's why some of us take our chances with white people and other groups. Because it seems like in the black community, we don't respect culture. We don't respect elders. We don't respect history. We have no respect for the past and all the things that we just don't. And I can't work with people like that. I just can't. I'm so sorry. Can't do it. And I feel like we got to talk about this sexual predator paralysis kind of thing that's happening in the black community. We got to stop protecting predators. I don't give a fuck if they're your baby daddy, your dad, your brother, your homeboy. This need to protect black men who are dead wrong. It's costing us, y'all. I see other communities, come even from Africa, from Latin America, whatever. They don't want to be with black folks, and they really shouldn't, because we're not safe. We can't be honest. We don't protect. We don't protect girls in the black community. We do not. We protect boys, even if they ain't worth nothing. We protect them. Some of us is holding on to trifling men like they gold. And we just keep producing these people. So I don't have the answer, but I do feel like we must protect our girls because if she's not protected, we're not gonna make it, family. We're just not gonna make it. And it really is that simple. We're not gonna make it. We're not. And we could talk all day long. We could talk all day long about the days because we love doing the days. Oh my God. Black people give you a whole nother antidote with days, instead of looking at what do we, you know what I mean? What do we have? What do we have control over? You know, what do we have control over? And the truth of the matter, we have control over a lot of things. We really do. But for some reason, we really, really struggle with that. We really struggle with accountability. You know how hard it is to get black people together to talk about, to talk about this thing with Diddy or Bill or Kelly or Russell or, like we should be talking about these things. Most black women are survivors, but we do this thing where we don't have value on black bodies. We don't. On black women's bodies, we don't have value on them. So we kind of spend all day, acting like it's not important. We act like all day like that's so not important, but it is. And I think all of this stuff, like, even, and my thing is love who you love. But I also think there's some link there. I think there's a link there between, I'll face the question, that I don't want to talk about it. I do think there's a link there with this, make sure I say this correctly, with this bisexual, so I guess these men were bisexual, and the violence against women. Because when I read all that stuff that Diddy paid, you know, within 24 hours, even some of the stuff R. Kelly did, very violent, very violent. And I'm not saying every bisexual man is violent against women. I'm just saying there's a link there. I mean, you could be bisexual, but you ain't got to beat up a woman. You ain't got to piss on her and drug her up and all that kind of shit. But I do think there's a link there in the hatred. It's really like a hatred of women. It's a real hatred. Let's just call it what it is. And we have let these people produce music that it was full of hate for women and girls. And I don't know how anybody can let their daughter be around any person that even listen to shit like that. And see, we so busy protecting that type of person from the police when we should let the police have them. Because they're no good for our community. And the person you should be protecting, we don't protect. We don't protect. If I hear one more nigga, and I'm saying it just like that, want to tell me about, um, well, the history, dude, some of the shit y'all talking about, I learned when I was in my 20s. I learned it in my 20s. I don't want to hear this, well, she should know better. No, you should know better. Keep your dick in your pants. So I think when we talk about how we know that over 50%, they say, of the population in prison are black men, sometimes I understand why. And see, we don't want to talk about that shit either. First, you want to say, well, this men that was railroaded. That's probably 1% because we have produced a lot of people with no morals. And we act like it's okay for men to do shit. And we do not protect girls and women. We do not. We put too much importance on men. Too much. Too much importance. And then you wonder why. This is the funniest thing. When I have girls in my class and they're studs, which means they, identify as a boy or not identify. They kind of dress in boys' clothes and they're gay or whatever. When they talk about having children, we talk about everything. They said they want to have daughters. They don't want to have sons. I said, why? He said, yeah, because girls are just stronger. I said, let's talk about that. Because I like to hear what young people think. I'm not trying, I want to hear because I may learn some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like I hear them. Many industry people knew about Diddy and Kelly. Of course, yes, the question. I'm on Instagram too, y'all. Yeah. But you know what? You, I don't even know how we can talk about those people because all of these people, Bill included, please watch. We must talk about Bill. Please watch that shit. And it's the brother who produced it. And some people was mad at him. And we got the audacity. This will crack me up with niggas. We got the audacity to be embarrassed in front of white people when we get busted doing shit. And we must say, well, Einstein or whatever his name was, he did it. We got the nerve to say shit like that. So and so did it. Like, I don't know them. I don't know Epstein. Yeah, you see it? I thought it was very interesting, sequester. Because I mean, do I think some of the other women jump on the bandwagon? Could be. But I know he did a lot of that shit because he was just too judgmental on black folks. When you see a black person like that who is very judgmental on us, they're guilty. Flat up and down. Like there's no way to get away from it. But I also think there's a lot of Bill Cosby's in the black community. I don't care what's in the white community. The one thing about me, I'm a nation builder. I don't give a damn what white people are doing. So please don't deflect. Please don't deflect. My mama say so-and-so jumped off the building. That don't mean your ass got to jump off the building. So we're talking about you right now. And I just feel like I'm just watching how people are just defending these people and they don't even know them. I find it ironic. And see, this is where black folks got to get smart because I don't think we're one people. I mean, I'm talking like that, but I don't think so. What does Will Smith, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever he called himself this day, Brother Love, whatever, R. Kelly, um, what do they all have in common? What's the link with all those people? I'm not trying to be funny, and I ain't gonna get on Jada because I don't know her like that. I really don't, because so many people drag her because she's doing her woman shit, and sometimes people hate when you be a free woman because she gonna say she ain't got to take no script. We don't know what Will is like. We kind of know what Jada like because we see more of her because of the table talk, but we don't know nothing about Will. I listened to an interview the other day with his good friend, and why I believe some of the stuff the man said is that he didn't talk down on Will Smith. He was just presenting the case because he's known him for like over 30, 40 years or whatever. And he said something about something that happened to Jada. And for me, the light bulb came on in my head why she is so angry. But it was the same thing that happened to Cassie. It was the same thing that happened to some of the R. Kelly's people. And I thought to myself, see, we don't want to talk about this because we're so into protecting imagery. We're so into protecting imagery. Diddy is a billionaire. He don't need us to protect him. Will Smith is doing great. He don't need no protection for us. We don't know what agreement him and Jada made. But he gets up and slaps somebody, we blame the woman. Really? Like, really, y'all? But y'all do that. Y'all watch them do it with their sons. This girl got my son. No, your son doing what he wants to do. You don't get to blame the woman. She ain't his mama. Blame your damn self, mom. But we love to blame women for when men do stuff or boys do stuff. You know what I mean? My son, I used to get, oh, you got to meet my son. He need to go. He don't need a woman like me. No, you don't. No. I do not want your product. Because some of y'all have that bang up job. Then we got the audacity. This was another thing that get me. We got the audacity we have all of these men running around here, boys, and they be so goddamn just emotional. And I think to myself, where is your damn daddy? Where's your father? When are we gonna put them on the hook? When do the dad get to be on the hook? Where he at? Why do we keep having babies by people we know we shouldn't have? They sperm should never see the light of day. Why we keep doing that? Seriously, I really don't understand that. I really don't understand that. I don't understand why people keep having babies with people and they just the most trifling people on the planet. I don't get it. And then we wonder why our kids are always behind the eight ball because you brought them to the planet behind the eight ball. They didn't get here and get put behind. You brought them here behind the eight ball. We would invest in you making some trap music than invest in you going to the spelling bee. We would invest in you running some damn basketball, but you have no chance in hell of being drafted by any team in any sport. But we ain't going to show up to the PTA meeting and see how we can help our kids in school. And my thing is, we got to quit with the excuses. Has this system been fair to us? Hell no. But it ain't stopped our ancestors from trying. And when I meet Black folks and they talk to me like that, I really go for their head. I be like, no, you don't get to use that fucking excuse. You do not today, you don't. You do not get to use that excuse. You do not get to say, well, the system, I don't want to hear none of that because I know my history. I know my answers. I know we're from on both sides. And we have struggled in this country. We have struggled. You hear me? But we still came through. We still came through. So no, I can't listen to none of that shit. I'm so sorry. I feel like we must talk about, I'm going to say that. We must talk about these type of people that exist in our community. We don't get to write them off with an excuse. It is never okay to do this. See, when you damage the womb, let's just break it down. Because rape and misogyny and all that stuff is a little bit more. It's not more, it's much more than just the physical act. It's much more than a physical act. Much more. You damage the womb is what you're doing. Because all that you give to her that is horrible lives there. And then children have to be conceived in there and live in there for 9 months. And they feeling all that she feels. And nobody teaches us how to clean ourselves when things like this happens to us. Therapy is nice. I'm always for therapy. But when nobody teaches how do we clean that energy from the womb? How do we stop bringing damaged people to the planet? How do we stop doing that? How do we do that? How do we make it in a world when people keep trying to say, well, the man got to do this and that? Girl, please. No, you got to take care of yourself. We got to choose better, right? That's part of it. I mean, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I just feel like when I looked at Diddy, I feel like, yeah, somebody probably got with him because they wanted to have a career. But you should not have to sell your soul to a person just because you want to show your gift. Yeah, maybe people did want to spot on Bill's show or whatever he was doing because he did a lot of awesome things. But that don't mean you got to sell your soul. Yeah, people probably really did like Kelly's music. And you do write some wonderful stuff. But nobody wants to have to do that because they got to be with a demon to do it. I used to hear all these things about how bad the entertainment, Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. But that, y'all remember, y'all, what we're talking about now has to do with the Black folks who went to it. They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to do it, y'all. And that's the part we can't get with. So anyway, I just want to come to y'all tonight and just talk a little bit and say, please keep your eyes and ears open. Please watch how young people is taking the information that we are sharing about these people and how we are reacting to it. Please save your judgment for your private time. Don't be condemning in front of children, because that's why they don't tell you when shit happened to them, because you're always condemning them. I heard that today. Thank you, sis. I heard that today in Boyce Watkins' thing. Even though he was trying to be balanced, he was kind of condemning the women. And then want to blame it on white people. No white people did that. That was this nigga. Like that, you get to be who you are. All of us are here with a unique fingerprint. All of us are. That means you have to stand in your truth. You got to stand in your truth. And I feel like if Diddy, I don't know, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. I don't think this is about a payday, even though people should pay for what they do. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of those people. He should absolutely pay for what he's done. But I also think this shit has to stop. This has to stop. This shit is getting ridiculous. It's got to stop. We can't go on no more. We cannot go on. We just can't, y'all. And we too will be judged for this. We will be judged. There's no way around it. So that's all I got to say tonight. It was on my head, and I just want to tell y'all that, because as I work with these girls in my school and they be sharing stuff with me, I'll be like, Black folk, we got to do better. We just got to do fucking better. I'm tired of hearing these stories from Black women and girls. I'm tired of hearing about shit that's happened to people they never told anybody, or they've been carrying it around with them. I'm so tired of hearing that shit. And I'm so tired of us as a people acting like it's women's responsibility to control men's urges. That's not our fucking job. He's a man like I'm a woman. That person's a boy like she's a girl. Stop putting all this shit on a woman. Because let me tell you something, when it's over for her, it's over for all of us.